Okay, and we need to study a kite. And a kite is pretty cool, pretty neat to draw. A kite is a quadrilateral on which two consecutive sides have equal lengths, and then it has two remaining sides of equal lengths. Okay, so for making a kite, and it does look just like the thing that you fly on windy days, I need to pay attention to length. So I'm going to draw two sides that are 2 inches long. So there's a side that's 2 inches long. Doesn't matter the angle here, but this is also 2 inches long. So from 5 to the 3 inch mark. I'm going to call this K, and these are both 3 inches long. So these are the same. Okay. All right. I need to find the midpoint along here. I need to find this angle and then find half of that because I have to draw an angle that bisects these two angles. So let's see what the angle is here. This is, I probably could have done it a little bit better, huh? 30, that's about 35, maybe 30, we'll say 34. And half of 34 is 17. So I'm going to try to strike an angle of 17 degrees in there. So 17 would be, let's see, 17, there's 20, that'd be 17 about right. Let's see, there's 15, 16, 17. Does that look right? Yeah, that looks pretty good. So, and that's kind of a fancy move. You could also, I guess you could estimate that. You could just try to bisect it. And then, the other way to do that would be to take this or take that, cut it out, and then fold it. And if you fold it in half, you would get half. But it's okay if you're just guessing right now. You're kind of doing your best with that. And then all we need to do is find a point on this line, anywhere on this bisector line, and draw lines from this endpoint to that point, and from this endpoint to that point. Actually, really cool. Really like making kites. That's kind of cool. Okay, so that's a kite, and you can kind of guess just from looking at the way that we've done, or kind of thinking about these, that this and this line segment and this line segment are going to be the same. So we'll say K I T E, right? Kite. This is congruent to this. It is the same length. Let's see if we can measure it here. We'll measure it in centimeters. It's about a little bit more than 2 centimeters, and that is a little bit more than 2 centimeters. This was, well, I guess I did it in inches, didn't I? So I should stay consistent with inches or centimeters, but that was 2 inches, and that is 2 inches. So a kite is quadrilateral and it's two consecutive sides. So this is KI. KI is equal to, so, and it shares that angle K. So KI is equal to KE. And let's see, it has two remaining sides of equal length. So IT is equivalent to ET. IT is equivalent to ET. Okay. The diagonals, we drew one already when I was trying to figure out how to make my kite. The diagonals are kind of interesting. This, you can see, or you might guess at this point, that E, let's just say, what can we call that? Let's call that let's call that point Q. So EQ looks like it's the same as QI. EQ equals QI. Let's measure it to double check. Measure it is that's about 1.5 centimeters. That's about 15 millimeters. And that is also about 15 millimeters. So it bisects one of the diagonals, is bisected by the other. Therefore, it makes a perpendicular angle. So we could say, let's see, one of the diagonals, diagonal KT, bisects IE, diagonal IE. And let's see, the other part is it is a KT is perpendicular to IE. That's a right angle. So KT is perpendicular. KT is perpendicular to IE. And that would be a property that you would see on any kite. And finally, I just want to show you one more kite, because this point T that we have here is kind of, it looks the most like a kite, like one that I'm familiar with flying in a field, when it is out beyond this kind of the triangle that's here. But you could also put T in here. And let me show you that real quick. I'll make maybe a more narrow. Whoops, I lost track of the measure there. Let's try that again. So we're going from 5 to another 2 inches, and then I'll make it a more narrow angle, more acute. Another 2 inches. This is point K. There's I. There's E. And we got to figure out where to put that point T. And I need to measure this, come up with half. I mean, you could kind of guess, whereas it's like maybe right there, but let's see here. So that's about, what's that, about 20, we'll say 24 degrees. Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah, 24. So I want about 12 degrees, which would be right there. Was I close? I think I was pretty close. Yeah. So I'm looking at that point that I put there. And remember, I could put point T anywhere along that that line segment. So I'm actually going to put it here. Okay, so that's point T. And this then, this is also a kite. Let me erase my middle line there. Okay. This is also a kite, and it has the same features. Ki is equivalent to Ke. Ke, Ki, Et is equivalent to It. Double check that. It's about 19 millimeters, and yeah, 19 millimeters. Beautiful. And then if you extend it, let's see, that the perpendicular, it's ET, seeing that ET is perpendicular to KT is a little bit harder, since it would have to be extended out, but you can see that it would wind up being perpendicular. Okay, so this is also a kite. This is kind of the more standard version, and that is also a kite. Maybe it looks a little bit more like a hang glider. Okay, very good.